What's up? Will here with Rennthusiast, my channel that is about Porsche ownership. And in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the 7 types of Porsche enthusiasts you never want to become. To give credit where credit's due, I tripped over this concept on a watch channel that I like to keep up with. It was called the 8 types of watch collectors you never want to become. And I got to thinking about it. Like, first of all, there's a lot of overlap in the watch world and the Porsche world. And if you agree, let me know in the comments. I know that I'm a watch guy, and I know a lot of my Porsche friends are watch guys. I got to thinking about like that concept, the type of watch collector you don't want to be, and I'm thinking, there are some Porsche enthusiasts that maybe guys don't want to become. And so that's where I got this idea. I'll put a link to that video down in the description. So broadly, what I'm trying to accomplish in this video is to give you guys like some food for thought about whether or not you're being positive contributors to the Porsche hobby, to the Porsche community, or if you've inadvertently fallen into the trap of maybe being somebody that you don't want to be in this hobby. I've been in the Porsche world for maybe 6 years now. It is my brand of choice. I've been a car guy my entire life, but when I found Porsche, I just never looked back. Part of the enjoyment of these cars is the community, the network of friends I've made, and I've met some of the greatest people in the world in this community. That said, I've also come across some real all of those experiences have led me to understand maybe what's helpful for people who are looking to expand the hobby, welcome newcomers in, get people excited about the cars. I understand what that looks like, and then I also understand owners or enthusiasts that want to exclude guys from certain events or you know, certain communities. Let us now get into the 7 types of Porsche enthusiasts you don't want to become, and if you think I've missed anything, please throw it down in the comments. All right, the first type of Porsche enthusiast you may not want to become is the owner who is scared to drive your car. I understand the desire to keep these cars nice. I also know that certain people don't really like spirited driving and all of that. And so I'm not here to judge you if that's you. But what I am gonna say is that in my experience, I have bonded with my cars the most, and I have had the most shared human relationship experiences on group drives, at rallies. For me, that's just really that's where the passion comes from, is using the car as intended. These Porsches are very, very able to take a beating. They were designed to be able to go to the track on the weekends and be used during the week, and so they can certainly take it. And so if you are this type of enthusiast, I would suggest trying to go on a couple drives if you haven't, because I promise you're gonna have a great time. The next type of Porsche enthusiast you may not want to become is that enthusiast who will not let other folks be where they are in their Porsche journey. I've been doing a lot of thinking about the idea of a Porsche journey. It's not original to me, but I know that since my first Porsche, my tastes, my preferences, my knowledge, maybe some of my naivete, it's changed. When I first came into this world, I was on fire for it. I modded the cars. I was trying to do everything I could to personalize it. And now I'm at a place where I really appreciate period correctness. And so that's just me. I know that all sorts of people out there enjoy the hobby in all sorts of ways, and they're at various points in their journey. And I would just say the type of enthusiast that ridicules them for their lack of knowledge, or you know, whatever it is, it's just bad vibes. If you do catch yourself doing that kind of thing, just let somebody be. Let them let them be where they are on their journey. Okay, the next type of enthusiast that maybe you don't want to become is that enthusiast who looks down their nose at any generation of 911 that they don't own. I get that people are really kind of enthusiastic and passionate about the generation they've owned. That's why they chased it to begin with. And I can relate. I love each generation that I currently own, but not to the point where I'm gonna look down my nose at other generations. Again, I think we gotta work hard to share the passion, be inclusive, be positive. Don't flame other people just because they don't have the 964, which you believe is the last and most analog 911. I understand that you feel that way, but shaming other people is a good way to run people off, or at bare minimum, get them to the place where they don't want to be inside the community. So don't be that guy. All right, along those lines, the next type of enthusiast I think you don't want to be, that guy who is not positive or welcoming to newcomers in the community. I see a lot of this play out on social media, and I've touched on this in a couple of the other points I've made. you have people who are looking to get into their first 911, man. Maybe they've been saving for a long time. Maybe it's a lifelong dream they've had and they're finally in a position to do it. They come into a Facebook group, they ask a naive question, or they ask somebody, in your opinion, is it better to go with this color or that color? And people will say, hey, do what makes you happy. And there are two ways of doing that. It's like, come on, why are you asking us that question? Or, really, in my experience, you should do what makes you happy. So the guy that's in there, basically trying to big dog the newcomers versus being welcoming and giving freely of advice and being positive and inviting these guys on drives or offering to go evaluate cars for them, like, don't be the guy that runs people off. Be the guy that pulls them in. Okay, the next one, the next enthusiast you don't want to be, there's a philosophical reason you don't want to do this, and then there's a very practical reason you don't want to do this. It's the enthusiast who pushes the envelope too much on group drives or at rallies. Philosophically, this is the guy who likes to show up and show off. This is the guy who has deep pockets and he's thrown tons of money at his car and it's modded and it's souped up and it's awesome. This is a guy who wants to push the envelope so much that he ends up risking everybody else's life, risking the reputation of the event, wrecking his car, hurting somebody. So like that kind of behavior it kills the vibe. It's for me, if I'm following that person, man, I pull way back. I can't even look at it. I find it distracting. And the second reason, the practical reason is like, there's a high likelihood that ultimately you're gonna ball your car up. You may hurt yourself. You may hurt or worse somebody else. A lot of these rallies, a lot of these drives are at least in my case, up in the mountains of North Carolina, where there are small towns like with dogs and young kids and walkers out on the streets, and very practically you could hurt somebody or worse. And so don't be that guy. Okay, this next enthusiast type is something that I have a lot of thoughts, feelings, opinions on. It's the flipper. Now, before I get into the flipper, I do want to say a couple things, because this could be a dicey or offensive comment. There are reputable dealers, honest dealers that are very selective about cars that they buy and how they retail them, how they represent them. There are lots of those out there, and what I love about them is they have a dealer's license. They understand the processes of how to protect the consumer, how to handle the paperwork. They have insurance. It's all legit and on the up and up. And there's tons of those guys out there. I'm friends with a number of you. So I'm not gonna put you in the category I'm getting ready to talk about. So the flipper is somebody who gets into the community and maybe becomes aware of guys that are wanting to sell cars, and they become aware of guys that are wanting to buy cars, and they like to get in the middle of those deals. They're a little bit close to the vest. They may tell the seller that I have a buyer, but I need a fee for me to connect you, or they have a buyer and they're gonna go find a car for somebody, they already know of it, and they put themselves in the middle, and lo and behold, the buyer's getting an open title. All of that is just, in my view, it just feels very opportunistic. These are the guys that go on the classifieds and they scour listings and they're looking for ways to lowball the widow and get the car at a very low price so that they can refurbish it and turn it. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be too negative about this. I've just got feelings about it. I've learned a lot in my journey, and I just think it's important to work with reputable dealers that do an honest job. If you're thinking that you wanna find opportunities like that, take a pass on that, man. Just connect, guys. Connect sellers and buyers. I just think it's good vibes. So don't become the flipper. Okay, this type of enthusiast, the final type of enthusiast, is very offensive. It is the person who goes on social media and rips up other enthusiasts. And I think there's a couple of really kind of confusing things for me going on here. It has to do with cars that are being represented online, and specifically on platforms where comments can come into play. So I want to talk about Bring a Trailer first. I have personal experience on Bring a Trailer, and I have just never understood why you have people on BAT who they come across a listing and then they start commenting and just trying to tear away at the credibility of the car or the quality of the car when they really don't know anything about it. I don't understand why owners, if these folks are owners, why would they want to drive down the prices of the cars? It just hurts them. And along those lines too, you go into Facebook groups where guys are sharing their listings, and maybe they're asking for a premium price, and you get guys that rip them up. Why? If you're an owner, why would you do that? I don't get it. Like, you want to drive down the value of our cars? Now, I'm not naive enough to believe that everybody who is making those comments, making those laughy face emojis that they're owners. A lot of them are, and I think that they are not happy that they can't afford these cars. And so of course they want to ridicule, they want to shame, and it has nothing to do with the seller of the listing and everything to do with the guy leaving the comment. Don't be that person. I mean, I work really hard in my Facebook group. It's called Rennthusiast Air-Cooled Porsche Fans. I work really hard to keep it positive in there, and frankly, if I catch anybody doing any of that stuff, I toss them out. So there you have it, the 7 types of enthusiasts I think you don't want to become. I'm sorry if I've been a little bit judgmental in this video. I have a lot of feelings and thoughts on this. I've had some pretty interesting dynamics coming at me and my community. But being on YouTube, being publicly visible, like, I expect it. You can't do this and have thin skin. I'll now put some cards up to some previous videos I did. The last 2 were really very popular videos featuring a man by the name of Nathan Murs. The first one that's done really well is a video where he compares his Speed Yellow 993 to his Speed Yellow 996. I urge you to go check that out. And then he did another one on how to protect yourself as a consumer when having your modern 911 serviced at a dealer. So hopefully you guys will check that out, and hopefully you'll keep your eyes open for more content. I publish weekly.